Joining us now is Dan Levitas. He is the executive director of the Center for Democratic Renewal, a group that monitors the activities of white supremacist groups in this country. Mr. Levitas, did it shock you to hear their views on whites and Christians and Jews?
Well, it's not shocking to us. We, of course, have been monitoring the activities of white supremacists and neo-Nazis in the electoral arena for years now. But what is disturbing is the notion that we find all too often that messages like this should be ignored, that people should not pay attention to the penetration of racism, anti-Semitism, hatred of gays and lesbians in the political arena. And I think it's important that we all realize that we have to respond to bigotry in all of its forms, and it's particularly dangerous when it enters politics.
Are these men a real threat? Could they someday win seats in Congress?
Well, I think it's possible for white supremacists and neo-Nazi candidates to be successful in the electoral arena. But we're asking the wrong question if we ask, can they succeed in getting elected? Because even candidates like David Duke are able to succeed where they fail electorally to win public office. They gain legitimacy for ideas that would otherwise be considered illegitimate in the political arena, ideas of racial terrorism, genocide, bigotry. They raise money, and they gain additional followers. So they don't just have to win Election Day in order to succeed. It's part of a platform approach that neo-Nazis are using to gain additional recruits.
Mr. Shepard and Mr. Jones, Mr. Levitas thinks you're dangerous. Do you see yourself that way?
Absolutely not. I think Center for Democratic Renewal is an organization that's it feeds the American public full of propaganda. They're strictly a organization that's a very liberal organization, and they've got their own views, and they're raking in the money themselves. I'm running for state representative in Tennessee in the state house. District 94 haven't raised one dime yet, so he can't say I'm raising money.
I was candidate just recently for Congress in the 3rd Congressional District of Illinois. I was campaigning on the issues that I think most white people, and for that matter, most Americans feel very strongly about, and into affirmative action, to special rights for non-whites, to put the gays back in the closets, to end the murder of millions of babies by legalized abortion, to stand up for the interests of the United States in foreign affairs instead of letting the Israeli lobby dominate things. And the Republican Party in the 3rd Congressional District put out a fact sheet on my candidacy. Interestingly enough, it lists all the candidates that were running in the 3rd District as Republicans, but they omitted myself and Pat Buchanan. And when I confronted the Republican Party about this, they said, well, that was a printer's error. No, they were deliberately trying to black me out of the campaign because they don't have the guts to face up to the issues that I am raising. And I'm going to continue to raise these issues, and I will be elected to Congress the next time around. You can guarantee that.
You only got 3% of the vote. That tells me that your position was not very popular.
Not quite. As of 1:30 in the morning, I had 20% of the vote in the suburb of Berwyn alone. In the morning, after the votes were all counted, then they had me down to 3%.
So it was a fix,
yeah, absolutely. With vote fraud, and we're looking into a possibility of a recount.
All right, let me get to this commercial break, and we'll come back and continue this discussion in just a moment. And we're back once again. You have a question or comment?
Yes. I think you guys are racist and violent, and you know, what you are doing is, it's been done sort of undisguised or disguised many years ago. I just want to ask you one quick question. What do you think of the Holocaust? What's your opinion of it? Or do you believe that it existed?
Well, in my opinion, the Holocaust is the greatest overblown non-event in history. It's nothing but an international extortion racket for the Jews to extort money out of the West German people.
Millions of people lost their lives.
Poppycock. It's poppycock.
What do you mean,
if you do a study of the Holocaust, you'll find, for example, in the Camp Auschwitz, for example, there was a book called Doctor at Auschwitz by Nicholas Nalizzi, alleged doctor at Auschwitz. And he claimed to have witnessed a gassing is used at a rate of 25,000 a day for 3.5 years. You do a little math, you'll find it comes to 41 million people allegedly gassed at Auschwitz.
I'm not going to debate the facts with you. You have a question or comment?
Yes, society maintains its civilization through maturation process. Your particular organization seems like it's not matured enough to handle the demands of civilization. You say just the white but all people participate in civilization. It's part of the maturation process of humanity. You cannot deny civilization from human beings. This is our natural right as being a human being to be civilized. And when you deny this, you're denying a basic right of yourself by destroying this attitude within yourself.
Excuse me,
Humanity exists for civilization.
Excuse me, sir. If you look at the Uniform Crime Report, who is committing 90% of the crime in this country? Blacks and Latins. Who is committing the abortion? Who's committing the gay rights movement, huh? Jews and other leftist organizations like this are pushing all this immorality on the white Christian majority, and we don't want any part of it. That's not civilization. That's chaos and anarchy.
Doesn't a representative in the U.S. Congress represent his constituency? True or false?
Excuse me, ma'am?
Does a representative in U.S. Congress represent his or her constituency? True or false?
Yes, ma'am. He represents
If you
his
were elected to national office, would you not have a constituency of blacks and Jews and whites?
Not in the 3rd district. It's 89.7% white.
You know, I'm here on a visit. I live in Germany, and I can't believe what I'm hearing. I mean, because my generation, we still suffer, and we're still ashamed of what happened.
Excuse me. I'm more concerned about the American POW. That's one reason why I got in the race. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I fought for this country. I'm concerned about what's going to happen to these POWs if George Bushwhacker Bush gets reelected again.
Let me get to this commercial break. We'll come back and continue in a moment.
To become a member of our studio audience, write for free tickets. A Closer Look tickets. P.O. Box 4682, New York, New York 10185. Or call 212-664-5482.
And we're back once again. Mr. Levitas, it is obvious where Mr. Jones is coming from. However, it's not quite as clear where Mr. Shepard is coming from. Who is more dangerous in your view?
Well, when we hear code words used like affirmative action, reverse discrimination, equal rights for whites, I think we need to be clear what the real agenda of candidates and individuals are. Racial violence, racial terrorism, assault, murder, and genocide. These concepts that are promoted by candidates for public office who are neo-Nazis and white supremacists are just sanitized versions of the message promoted by people in white sheets and hoods. And we've got to educate the American public to get beyond that, because as we've seen in Louisiana, when the rhetoric is sanitized, when the true message of genocide is not presented in its bald hatred in the way Mr. Jones presents it, people can be taken in and essentially buy the fake product.
I don't think I said anything that was hateful. I just talking up and telling people where I stand. And a lot of people agree with my position. And millions of people right now are saying, good for Mr. Jones.
Does anyone in the audience agree with him? No. Is that your family right there with the hands up? You related to him at all? No, I'm one of his workers. You're one of his workers. All right. You have a question here?
Yes. My question is, being a proud gay black man that I am, where would you like us to go? And have you ever needed help from someone in my position?
Where would I like you to go?
Yes.
Back home in your closet.
Oh, I see. I have no closet. It's all with
well, then
clothes.
We'll build you one.
No, thank you. I'm proud of what I am.
I don't know why you're proud. Proud to be queer and black? Proud to be queer and black? I don't understand that.
I think that you, Mr. Jones, are a disgusting, prejudiced pig, and they're going to throw you in a gas chamber to see what we Jews went through during the Holocaust.
I think you're a race traitor.
You have a question here?
I can't understand how you want to represent the American people by going to Congress when you're going against everything that we stand for. What everyone else stands for.
Really?
I mean,
did you fight for this country,
home of the free. No, but my father did.
Did you? So did mine. So did mine. But did you fight? Did you fight in Vietnam?
My brother fought.
No, you didn't.
My brother fought. You don't need to yell at me, and I don't need to yell at you. Why are you getting upset at me?
I am upset because every time you get on a program like this, the audience is always stacked against us.
That's not true at all.
Wait a minute. I won't let you. I am not going to let you get away with that. We did not stack this audience against you. These people who got tickets legitimately and came in, and I won't let you accuse us of that.
Sure.
Next question.
Sure. That's why we've got two people in the audience, right?
Sir, I have more of a comment than a question. I think that these gentlemen, excuse me, I'm trying to speak. I haven't said anything derogatory at all. I'm just trying to say that I think these gentlemen are doing us actually a service because they're right out in the open. And we have to be more afraid of people who are just reserved about it and very, I guess, covert, if you will. This gentleman is out front, and he's telling us exactly what the story is.
How about
Sir, wait a minute. I gave you a chance, right? Just give me the same honor, okay? Now, I'm just saying that, you know, these people are, well, they're out in the front. So, you know, take them for what they are.
You know what?
I'm an American patriot. That's what I am.
Yeah, and you know what, Mr. Levitas, I'd like to ask you as well. Yes. Are they part of a political trend now?
That's right. The issue here is not the individual personalities of a candidate or another candidate. What we need to be aware of is that these folks are part of a national trend of neo-Nazis moving into the political arena, and that the code words of racism and anti-Semitism are now being used even by more mainstream political candidates who don't necessarily come out of the Ku Klux Klan.
Right. I'm sorry. When that music plays, I have to get to the commercial break. Let me do that, and I'll come back.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I regret that we are out of time for this show. I know that there are a lot of people in this audience who had comments that they want to get in. But it is a topic that we all need to be aware of. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your views, even if we don't agree with them. We'll see you next time, everyone.